AM Best has introduced its national scale rating to 5 countries: Egypt, India, Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam. And here to discuss the revised criteria procedure is Graziano Brady, Senior Economist in AM Best Credit Rating Criteria Research and Analytics Department. And could you give us a primer on the national scale rating and how it maps from AM Best global rating scales?
Sure. So let's just start by reminding ourselves about the global rating scale. And here we're talking about the issuer credit rating, or ICR as we call it. And that's a measure of an insurance company's ability to meet its financial obligation. It's globally comparative wherever a company is located. So an A minus on that scale on a US company means the same thing as an A minus on a French company or a Japanese company. Wherever you're in the world, it is consistent. A national scale rating is different. So it's an opinion of the relative strength of an insurance company within its own territory. It's a relative assessment compared to all other insurers within that territory, and that means that it isn't comparable for an insurer in a different territory. So an A minus on the national scale rating, say in Egypt, won't be the same as an A minus on national scale rating in another country, e.g. Indonesia. So they are not comparable, unlike with the ICR.
Before the release of the criteria updates, a draft had gone out for comments. Were there any changes to the final criteria based on comments received?
Yes, there were a couple of changes just to make the criteria clearer. Regarding the 9 factors used to determine the market characteristics for the NSR mapping, we added a bit of language to accommodate for the fact that different reporting standards across jurisdictions could lead to the use of slightly different financial metrics or definitions. Furthermore, we included another instance where our criteria explains how an NSR can change, and that's when a global ICR corresponds to more than one NSR and a rating committee decides that one of the alternative NSR is more appropriate than the other.
How does the NSR benefit the types of insurance markets you just described?
So the way that it really benefits insurance markets is by, in a certain sense, mitigating the impact of country risk. We see a lot that in country risk tiers 3, 4, and 5 are higher risk tiers. A lot of the ICRs are dragged down somewhat by that country risk. And this means that we only use a small part of the rating scale, slightly towards the lower end. Whereas with an NSR, we can use the whole rating scale, and that really allows us to distinguish the relative strength of insurers within that market.
That's Graziano Brady, Senior Economist in AM Best Credit Rating Criteria Research and Analytics Department. You can find the revised criteria at ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm John Weber.